So this has been a video that I've been needing to make for a long time, just for myself. And I've been dreading the fuck out of it because I want to get back on YouTube, and that's what I think I need to do at this point in my life. It's been something that I've been working at for 10 years, and if you followed me for a long time, if you follow me on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever it is, you've probably seen all of these crazy ass fucking phases that I've gone through. I was out in Texas, then I was doing TikTok, I was working at a supplement company, I was traveling the world for 7 months, came back, I was doing all this bizarre, different shit, and like I run into a lot of people that I used to know, and they're like, dude, what the fuck have you been doing, bro? Like, what do you do? Like, what's your job? What do you, everything? Nobody really knows like what happened, and even the people close to me don't really know like all of the details of this shit, and I feel like at this point in my life, I've reached a really good point in my life. I'm doing the best I ever had. And I feel like it's important to kind of give you all a story of what happened over the last 4 years and why I've done the things that I've done, why I've moved around, why I'm back, why I got this office now. I got a new house. I got a motorcycle recently. I'm the best shape I've ever been in. But yeah, guys, this is going to be a difficult video for me to make. It's going to be a very raw, a very open one because I want to get back into YouTube. I feel like I've reached a point where I've become very content and comfortable with where I'm at. There's going to be a little bit of stuttering in here because I haven't been on the camera this long in a fucking while, bro. But yeah, this is just going to be a super raw video talking to you guys, telling you what's been going on, what's happened, why I'm getting back into YouTube, what the future of this channel is going to look like, and yeah, something I've been needing to do for a while, and I'm glad I've gotten to this point. But to break it down for y'all, I started doing content. I started YouTube 10 years ago when I was 12 years old. At the time, I was a really fat, overweight kid, a bit of a loser. I didn't have very many friends, and I started making videos and everybody really made fun of me. Like a couple days ago, I was going through my Google Drive, and this is part of the reason why I'm starting this channel back up. I was going through my Google Drive and I found a video on there, and it was just titled Getting Bullied. And it was basically just a 4-minute video of me in middle school, and all these kids just call me a fat autistic loser for thinking that I could do anything with YouTube or content. And that kind of bugged me because that's so long ago. I've gotten over all that. Obviously, I'm not holding shit from 8 years ago, but it kind of bugged me because I've done so many different goals and accomplishments that I've wanted to do over the years. But YouTube is one of those things that I just never stayed consistent with. And I'm like, dang, I wanted to do this since I was a little fucking kid, and I never really went far with it. And I think I want to get back on here and try it again and actually stay consistent this time. But yeah, so I started content when I was young. I really got bullied and made fun of it. I became very fat and overweight and depressed during this time. Eventually, if you followed me for a long time, you remember I used to be a really overweight kid. I was about 200 pounds, 5'6" at 12, 13 years old, which is pretty fucking heavy, no muscle at all. I got into the gym, I started playing football in high school, and it made me lose quite a bit of weight. I lost about 50 pounds. I started getting in a really good shape. And yeah, then when I was in high school, it just never really seemed to work out for me. I was fat. I got made fun of for being fat. Then I lost a bunch of weight, got made fun of for being small and not having any muscle. Started putting on muscle, and I explicitly, I deeply remember this, walking through the halls of high school and kids going, it's Roid Boy, it's Roid Boy. And everybody would call me fucking Roid Boy. So eventually I got to a point, I did my whole freshman year of high school in school. Then at this point I went to independent study, which is basically where you go into the office at school once a week. You meet with a teacher, they see if you're taking all your courses online. You go over all your shit, and then you go back home, you do all your coursework on your own, which I think was best for me at the time because I just was not having a good time at school. It was very difficult for me, and just I couldn't make friends in high school. It was it was just always something, and so I just did that. Definitely lowered my social skills. I feel like high school is a very developmental time for your social skills, and not having that, I kind of lacked some social skills for a little while. I was still doing sports and whatnot and doing different activities, but then I got really heavy into the gym. COVID hit, couldn't hit the gym, all of our gyms were closed, so I moved over to TikTok. I started doing TikTok content really heavily. I built a really, really big platform on there, about 200,000 followers on there, and it was pretty crazy because it was I remember being in middle school and all these people saying you'll never do shit with content. You're fucking stupid for thinking you can do anything with it. And now it's like I've got 200,000 followers. And I kept running with it. And eventually I got to a point where I made a substantial amount of money off of content. I was doing really well. And at 18 years old, I went out and bought my dream car, 2015 Corvette. I bought it in cash and, off of content. And so it was like a big, giant leap for me. And it was just like after all of these years of different people just drilling these ideas into my head that I'm fucking stupid and I couldn't do anything with content, it was like, look at me now. And that was a really bad thing, because I realized now, looking back, that I started doing so many different things to like prove people wrong, and it was never shit just for myself to make me happy. It was like, I'm gonna prove all of these people wrong and they're gonna regret it. And that it's a good form of motivation, but it shouldn't be your sole motivation, because you'll end up feeling very, very empty with that. You get to a point where it's like, dude, I didn't even do any of this stuff. You reach your goals and it's like, what do you expect? You expect people to like get on their knees and be like, oh my God, wow, I was so wrong. They're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? So I reached this point and it was just kind of like, fuck all you guys. Like, I remember even my mom, like, I was like, do you think I can do something with this content thing? Like, I've got this really big idea to go really far with content. I think I can get this Corvette before I finish off high school. And she looked at me and she goes, no, you can't do that. And I said, I'm going to remember this conversation. You don't think I can do it? She says, no, you can't. And then a couple months later, I remember I showed her, I was like, look it, guys, everyone said I couldn't fucking do this, and I did it. And it really put me in a negative mindset, because I just wanted to like show everybody that I was this big, great thing. And that's so stupid now. Like, it's like you shouldn't value others' opinions like that. You should do things for yourself. But after I got to this point, it kind of made me a little bit of a negative, nasty person. And I ended up getting out of a relationship that I'd been in for a couple years. That was pretty rough. We'd been in each other's lives for a long time. We'd been involved with each other's families quite a bit. And that took a toll on me. And then my Corvette engine, I owned it for 3 weeks. The person that sold it to me fucked me over quite a bit. Engine blew up in 3 weeks. And it cost me like 10 to 15 grand to fix that. And so slowly all these bad things started happening. I started getting into drinking, and then that just kept going. And just a mountain and a wave of bad things had hit me. At this point in my life, I reached a point where I was drinking and I would like start to get better, and then something really fucking awful would happen again, and I would just go back to drinking. It would be like I would take a week off. I would not be drinking for a week. I'd be in the gym. I'd be doing good and working on myself, and then something really fucking awful would happen. Like my grandpa died. My dog got hit by a car. Like, I told some people like really, really personal things that I didn't want out there, and they went and told a bunch of people. And those are just like looking back, these are like really significant things. It was just one after another. So it's like I would get better for a week, and then I would just fall right back in this spiral. And this lasted for so long, dude. Like, at this point, my mental state was just, it was fried. Like, I literally, I remember sitting there being like, I would rather be stabbed or shot with a gun than have to feel how I do mentally. Just because it was so exhausting. Like, every day I would wake up and just be like, God, like, don't let something go wrong. And it just always did. And I was like, I got to a point where it was like, why do I even stop drinking for a week? I'm just going to pregame the next fucking terrible thing to happen. And this went on for probably almost 9 months, dude. Eventually, I went on a trip to Houston, Texas. I liked it a lot and decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to move out there. And just being in a different environment, I didn't know a single person moving out there. I didn't have a clue what I was going to fucking do. I wanted to do content again, but I didn't have any ideas of what that would look like or how it would go. But just that whole change of environment, being in a fresh place where nobody knew me, there was no drama or baggage, it really did give me a big mindset shift. And for the first time in almost a year, I'd been feeling really good about myself. I was 19 at this time, and Houston was going really well. I got this job at a supplement company. They said I could start making 6 figures if I helped them with social media and marketing and whatnot. And so that's what I did. I got on with this company. Eventually, I started going out and drinking with people. I don't even know how I was doing this, bro. I was drinking every weekend at some of the coolest bars in Houston when I was 19 years old. How I would get into these places, I have no clue. It just always managed to happen. But started doing that, and then eventually there was a guy in this company who pretty much hated everybody. He had I think blackmail on somebody, in the company, and so whatever he said just kind of went. He had a personal vendetta for me where he hated all of my ideas, didn't want me to do any of my video or content, and so I went. So I became a lab assistant for them, which I absolutely fucking love that job, but it was like there was no room for progression. I was supposed to be marketing, I was supposed to be helping with social media, and I never, did that. And so I never progressed. I stayed at the same pay I was at. I didn't make that 6-figure salary I thought I was. And then there just started becoming a lot of drama with the gym, with all these influencers. I was always around all these like crazy influencers and stuff that have tons of followers. There's just always some new drama going on, and it got like very mentally negative for me. And so eventually I kind of removed myself from that crowd. I didn't have very many friends. I didn't have any family out there. All of my old friends from, before moving to Texas, like weren't around. So I got to a point where I just had almost nobody there. And it was very mentally exhausting. I wasn't moving up in the company. So I ended up, booking a trip to Guatemala for 1 week. Had an absolute blast out there. And I decided, fuck it. I'm just going to stay out here for 2 months. And that's what I did. I stayed out there for 2 months and just kind of goofed off, did my thing. It was a great time. It was a great experience. But then I came back home to Houston. And I was like, dude, I just can't keep fucking doing this. Like, I've had no friends. I've been mentally exhausted for so long. Like, I cannot stay here. So I broke my lease on my apartment. Cost me a bunch of money. And then I packed all my stuff in my little Ford Fusion. I drove 35 hours straight back to California, left all my stuff at my parents', and I said, bye, I'm going to Asia. And I took off to Asia for 4 months. I had a little bit of a plan at this point. Like, I wanted to get back into making content and work in different hostels, because if you work in a hostel, like you're a party rep, is what I was doing. Also like a tour guide and doing some different things. Like they'll give you like free room and board, and then some other perks like free drinks, free food. All of them are different, but yeah, that was what it was, and I was going to do my content thing on the side. Started doing Snapchat again. Snapchat was one of my biggest platforms, and I got up to 40K followers on there, and then I hadn't had any luck on Snapchat in years, and then in a week, I'd gotten 10 million views across a bunch of videos. I think my top one was like 4 or 5 million. And then I wake up one morning, and I posted a video in a bar, and one of the kids in the back was huffing balloons. If you know what that is, you know what it is, but... yeah, and Snapchat saw that. They said that is bad. That stuff is not allowed on our platform. You are permanently banned, which was terrible, because it's like this is the first time in years that I'd seen any success on social media again, and then just instantly my account gets banned. And so then I just kind of gave up on the content thing. I was just going to work in hostels and try to figure shit out, I guess. I didn't really have much of a plan, but I got to a point where it was like I'm a party rep, and every day it would just be drinking with the guests, like doing parties. And it's like, bro, I've been doing this every day for months. Like, I do not want to drink anymore. Like, at this time I got really like fat. I just lost my physique. I wasn't going to the gym very much. And I just, like, I was so exhausted. I was like, bro, I don't want to party. And like, you meet all of these amazing people and they're traveling. So it's like they stay, you meet them, you're friends with them for 2 days, and they're gone forever. And it just got so mentally draining doing this. And so I got to a point where anytime I would feel off or feel wrong, I would just get on a boat, $12 boat ride, and I'd go 9 hours away and fucking, here's a new city, here's a new country. I went to 7 different countries in total during this 7-month stint. And then eventually it got to a point where I was at this last one in Indonesia. I was running out of money, and the hostel thing wasn't working out. Like, it was really bad. The last one I worked at, they hated me for some reason. I just wanted I was like, hey, when do I get time off so I can just at least go to the gym and grab some food? And they were like, well, you don't really get time off, but just try to make it work or something. It was a very odd situation, but I went to the gym one day, spent a little longer in there because it was just constantly partying, being around people, talking to people, and I just needed time for myself. So one day I went to the gym for 2 or 3 hours. It wasn't even during an event or anything. It was midday, and there was no guests at our hostel. There's maybe 2 people chilling in the pool hungover. And I came back, and one of the boss grabs me, and he's like, hey, heard you were at the gym for 3 hours. I just want you to know, hope you've had fun here, but yeah, we're letting you go. Sorry. And I'd want to quit this place anyways, because they we didn't have an AC in our room. The stuff they were giving us was maybe $10 a day, to stay in the hostel. And it was all this work, and I couldn't enjoy anything to myself. this is probably the only job I've been fired from. Like, I wanted to quit for like weeks, but like they fired me, and like it kind of bothered me. I was like, bro, you guys are firing me. Like, you can't get people to join because you're not giving them like good incentives. We don't even got an AC in our room. But yeah, at this point, then I just I called up my parents and I was like, hey, I want to come back to California. And they said, you know, you always got a place here. Like, you got to figure something out. You got to get a job or do something. But, you know, we're here for you. So I came back to California, and I was 21 at this point. And I started making TikToks again. I had a little bit of success. Like, I could pay my bills and buy some shit, but it wasn't like anything good. Like, I can't build a savings or do anything of value. And so basically it was like, I'd make enough money to pay my bills, do my thing, and go drinking with my buddies. And I just would drink all the time. I was probably drinking like 3 or 4 days a week. When I was traveling, I was drinking fucking every day for like 7 months. So just constantly drinking, doing bad shit. I was going to the gym, but half-assing my workouts. I was always hungover and shit, making bad decisions. But yeah, I stayed with my parents, and it just, at this point, I feel like as far as goals and progression go, this was probably rock bottom for me, because it was like, I don't have a clue what I'm going to do. I don't have a clue like what the fuck to do. Like, all these ideas I've had always just blow up in my face, and I thought I was going to, you know, live in Houston, be a content creator, and that didn't work. And I was going to travel and stay in these hostels for years, and that didn't work, and do these content things, and my accounts got banned. And so this was really like fucking, as far as goals go, rock bottom for me. I started doing TikTok shop, had a bit of success with that. I talked to one of my buddies, and I'd been staying with my parents for about 11 months at this point, not going anywhere with my life. I talked to my buddy, and I was like, hey dude, you should try this TikTok shop with me, and we should get an apartment, and we could just make videos all the time. And he said, you know what, fuck it, I'll do it, dude. And he quit his job, started making TikToks with me. It went pretty well, you know, it was going really well. And we got the apartment together. I started going to college for the first time. I started college at 22. And I realized, like, after a while, I just hated it. And, like, just so many different aspects of college. Like, they will charge you money, especially with the online courses. The teachers don't teach anything. I remember my teacher, she gave us, like, this lecture video to watch. And she's like, hey, guys, sorry I got a mask on. It's COVID. And I'm like, bro, it's 2025. COVID was 4 years ago. Like, what do you mean you got to, like, y'all haven't remade lecture videos in, like, 4 or 5 years? I don't know. It was something else, especially since they were charging me money. I was like, I feel like I could learn so much more just shadowing people in the field I want to do than going to college and getting a degree. So I did that. I finished that whole semester. I got A's in all my classes, but it was just like, I could spend this time in such better areas. And so yeah, we got into this apartment. I locked in on my diet. I locked in on my training for the first time in my life. Like, I started taking things really fucking seriously. I started doing content again. TikTok shop started going really well for me. And at this point, like, this is probably like the best point I've been at in my life. I got into therapy. I talk to a therapist regularly now, and I was taking so many steps just to work on myself mentally and physically. And this year's probably been the best year I've ever had. Like, I've never had a 6-pack in my life. I've got a 6-pack now. Like, I've got this nice house. And so basically, when we were in this apartment, we were grinding. I was grinding all the fucking time. I dropped an OF, you know. I don't know if I can talk about that on here, but yeah, I had demand for it, and I was like, fuck it, why not do that? And a lot of people have enjoyed it so far. Like, I've got a lot of positive feedback on there, but yeah, I've just been doing a bunch of different stuff to, you know, progress, to work on my business, work on myself. And then our apartment started getting really shitty. Like, I would do live streams on the balcony, and the neighbors would be screaming all the fucking time, dude. Like, and I remember people in my live stream, this one time, this dude donated $50 because he was like, hope you make it out the hood, bro. I was like, oh my God. Like, they would be screaming just curse words, yelling at each other on like almost a daily basis. And we were just so ready to get out of there. And so me and my roommate, we went looking for houses. Eventually we found this one that we're in now. And it was a really solid house, you know. I've got my own bedroom. I've got my own office. He's got his own bedroom. He's got his own office. Nice living room. Like, it's like my dream house. And it's looking really fucking good. Like, I'm really glad to be here. But once I got here, I did realize I started feeling really content and comfortable. You know, it was like I had all these goals, and I like kind of got to them. You know, and it's not like, oh, I'm gonna throw it all away or I hate this, but it's like, what do I do next? You know, and that's why this YouTube thing has come up, because it's like I've reached all of these goals that I've wanted to do, and I need something new to wrap my head around. And yeah, YouTube has always been one of those things, like I've said, I've been in the back of my mind for 10 years. Like, I've always wanted to do YouTube. I've just never stayed consistent with it. But, you know, like, I feel like this is the project I need to, you know, start progressing more, challenge myself, try new things, and fucking do something new, you know? But it's been a crazy wild ride, and I feel like I needed to tell y'all this because there's so many people where they're like, bro, what the fuck happened? What were you doing? Like, it's been something else. But yeah, I don't drink anymore. I don't party. I've really locked in on all of my stuff. I've been locked in on my diet, locked in on my training, my content, my business. It's top priority for me now. And it's like the first year that I actually feel like very clear-headed. I'm in therapy, like I can deal with my problems and not run away from them. Versus before, it was like, let me move to Texas. Let me fucking run away to a different country. Let me drink my life away. And now I don't do that. It's like I can deal with my shit like a man. I don't need to fucking have these little escapes. And so I feel like I've got a lot of good, value and information to give people. And I feel like I can make really entertaining videos. I make fucking videos for a living just on TikTok and doing other things. So this is the challenge I think I need to do. And if y'all have watched this far, I really appreciate it. I feel like this is the type of shit people normally watch, but if you're watching a YouTube video, you like longer form, you like to know the person, and I feel like that's what I'm doing with this video. So my content from now on is probably going to be fitness related, comedy related, like lifestyle related, just different shit that I'm doing. And I hope you all enjoy it. I hope I fucking can get this done, learn how to edit pretty well, and take on this challenge. But yeah, I appreciate y'all that have watched this and showed support and been around and fucking sticked with me through all this crazy bullshit if you've been here for a while. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video.